children, good morning. How are you? Stay safe, stay at home. I hope you all are completed the first lesson notes. Now we can move to the second lesson. In this video, I am going to explain NCERT 8th Standard History second lesson from trade to territory. India had always been an important trading center. India's spices, silks, etc. were in great demand in Europe. With the establishment of many new trade routes, the Portuguese, Dutch, French and English came to India for trade. In 7th standard, you might have studied about Mughals, right? Aurangzeb was the last powerful Mughal ruler. After his death in 1707, many Mughal governors and big zamindars began asserting their authority and establishing regional kingdoms. By second half of the 18th century, a new power was emerging on the political horizon. That is the British. They came as a small trading company. How then did they come to be masters of a vast empire? In this chapter, we will see how this came about. So let's see. The English East India Company EEIC was formed in 1600 and established its trading centers at Bombay, Calcutta and Madras. The East India Company acquired a charter from the ruler of England. Who was then the ruler of England? Queen Elizabeth I. The English East India Company acquired a charter from the ruler of England, that is Queen Elizabeth I, granting it the sole right to trade with the East. This meant that no other trading group in England could compete with the East India Company. It gradually transformed its role from a trading power to an imperialist power that ruled India for nearly 2 centuries. I already explained the East India Company was formed in 1600 through a charter signed by Queen Elizabeth I, granting permission to trade with India. But the royal charter could not prevent other European powers from entering the eastern market. So we can see the first European traders to discover a sea route to India were the Portuguese. Portuguese were the first European traders who discovered a sea route to India. It was Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese explorer who had discovered the sea route to India in 1498. By the early 17th century, the Dutch too were exploring the possibilities of trade in the Indian Ocean. Soon the French traders arrived on the scene. The problem was that all the companies were interested in buying the same things. The fine qualities of cotton, silk, pepper, cloves, cardamom and cinnamon too were in great demand. Competition amongst the European companies inevitably pushed up the prices at which these goods could be purchased, and this reduced the profit that could be earned. The only way the trading companies could flourish was by eliminating rival competitors. The urge to secure market therefore led to battles between the trading companies. Trade was carried on with arms and trading posts were protected through fortification. The ever-growing territorial ambitions of the British led them to wage wars against the Indian rulers. The first of such conquests began with Bengal. So we can see the conquest of Bengal by British. At the time, the kingdom of Bengal included the provinces of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. Together, it was called Bengal. So the first English factory was set up on the banks of the river Hooghly in 1651. This was the base from which the company's traders operated. What was the name given to the company's traders? Company's traders were known as factors. Company's traders were known as factors. This factory had a warehouse and offices where company's officials sat. The company persuaded merchants and traders to come and settle near the factory and 1696. It began building a fort around the settlement. Farman, what do you mean by Farman? Farman means royal order. So, Farman of 1691 granted by Aurangzeb, exempting the British company from paying custom duties in Bengal. Aurangzeb issued an order, that is royal order, that was called Farman, that granted East India Company, that exempted East India Company from paying taxes. The Farman granted to the East India Company, however, led to many revolts among the people as Bengal was losing huge amount of revenue. The British were also misusing their rights. For instance, Aurangzeb's Farman had granted only the company the right to trade duty-free. But officials of the company who were carrying on private trade refused to pay tax. So this caused an enormous loss of revenue for Bengal. So the conflict between the company and the Nawabs of Bengal intensified. So next part we can see how trade led to battles. How trade led to battles. Through the early 18th century, the conflict between the company and the Nawabs of Bengal intensified. Bengal Nawabs like Murshid Quli Khan, Ali Vardi Khan and Siraj-ud-Dawla refused to grant the company concessions, demanded large tributes for the company's right to trade and stopped it from extending its fortifications. These conflicts finally culminated in the famous Battle of Plassey. Next we can see the Battle of Plassey. In 1756, Siraj-ud-Dawla became the Nawab of Bengal. Siraj-ud-Dawla attacked the English factory at Qasim Bazar and captured Fort William. The British retaliated and captured Kolkata under the leadership of Robert Clive. In the year 1757, you should not forget, this is very important year, 1757, Battle of Plassey took place. In the year 1757, the armies of the company and the Nawab of Bengal, that is Siraj-ud-Dawla and Robert Clive, clashed in the famous Battle of Plassey. In this battle, Siraj-ud-Dawla was defeated and killed. One of the major causes of this defeat was the non-participation of the Nawab's commander-in-chief called Mir Jafar in the battle. Why Mir Jafar did not participate in the battle? Mir Jafar had entered into negotiations with the British. The British had promised to make him the Nawab of Bengal in return for a large amount of money and trading privileges. The Battle of Plassey. When was Battle of Plassey? The year 1757. The Battle of Plassey became famous because it was the first major victory the company won in India. The English East India Company got free trading rights in the province of Bengal. The British were able to utilize the resources of Bengal to maintain and equip a large army. As a result of Battle of Plassey, the British had gained political control over Bengal. They were able to place their puppet rulers Mir Jafar and later Mir Qasim. When Mir Qasim complained, he in turn was defeated in a battle fought at Buxar in 1764. Let's see Battle of Buxar. Now let's see the Battle of Buxar in 1764. After the defeat of Battle of Plassey, Siraj-ud-Dawla was assassinated and Mir Jafar made the Nawab. When Mir Jafar protested, the company deposed him and installed Mir Qasim in his place. Mir Qasim soon grew tired of remaining a puppet, which angered the British. He was defeated in a series of battles by the British. He fled to Oudh and formed an alliance with Nawab of Oudh, Shujā-ud-Dawla and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam. So their combined army, Mughal Emperor Shah Alam, Nawab of Oudh, Shujā-ud-Dawla and Mir Qasim, their combined army met the British forces at Battle of Buxar in 1764. English commander Hector Munro defeated them. So in Battle of Buxar, where the British forces defeated these combined forces. After the Battle of Buxar, Mir Jafar was reinstalled. By the time Mir Jafar died in 1765, the mood of the company had changed. Having failed to work with puppet Nawabs, Robert Clive declared, "We must indeed become Nawabs ourselves." Next video we'll see company officials become Nawabs.